Welcome back to Rare US Coins, the place where hidden treasures come to life and where every penny has a story worth more than gold, and today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating pieces of American numismatic history, the Liberty 1-cent coin from the year 1967, a coin that at first glance looks simple and common but holds a powerful story filled with history, value, rarity, and incredible market potential that can turn an ordinary cent into a small fortune because many collectors and investors have been shocked to discover that certain varieties, grades, and mint state examples from this year can reach astonishing prices, with some top-quality pieces being valued around the massive figure of $779,336, which makes this coin one of the most exciting and underrated gems for serious collectors. The 1967 Liberty 1 cent was struck during a very unique time in United States coinage history, a time when the U.S. Mint was under enormous pressure due to coin shortages, hoarding, and public confusion from the coinage ACT changes of the MID 1960s, which led the mint to suspend mint marks entirely for years 1965, 1966, and 1967, meaning that every 1967 penny carries no mint mark at all, adding a special historical significance because collectors today know that these years represent one of the rarest periods when the mint broke tradition and produced coins with no identification of origin, making the 1967 cent a symbol of a very strange and important moment in U.S. coinage. The obverse features the stately portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, introduced in 1909 and continuing through decades as one of the most iconic designs in American history, while the reverse displays the classic wheat ERA successor, the memorial design, completed by Frank Gasparo, a design that celebrated the Lincoln Memorial and became a staple of American pocket change for years and years. Even though millions of these coins were minted, the real value does not come from the common circulated ones but from the extremely high-grade, brilliant, perfect, rarely preserved examples, because finding a 1967 1-cent coin in true gem condition is nearly impossible due to massive production, poor handling, and the fact that most people never saved them, meaning that today, coins graded MS-66, MS-67, or even a miracle MS-68 are so rare that they command unbelievable prices in the marketplace, with top auction results reaching into the hundreds of thousands. Now, when it comes to current market value, the exciting part is that the demand for high-grade 1967 pennies has surged because more collectors are recognizing that this year represents the heart of the NO mint mark transition period, and with values reported around $779,336 for extreme gem examples, this coin has become a powerhouse in the penny investment world, with prices continuing to rise as investors compete for the best surviving specimens. Even in lower grades, this coin holds strong market interest because hobbyists love its historical significance, and proof-like or strike-sharp examples always sell for far more than book price. Collectors are now paying extra attention to striking quality, luster, and any unique toning patterns, because beautifully toned 1967 pennies can sell for many times their expected value, making this one of the most fun coins to search for in old jars, estate lots, rolls, collections, or old penny banks. If you happen to find one with strong strike details, clean fields, almost no contact marks, and original red mint coloration, you could be holding a coin worth thousands or even the incredible market high of $779,336. And this is why the Liberty 1 cent from 1967 is not just a simple penny, it is a time capsule of American history, a product of a unique minting crisis, a hidden gem for collectors, and a potential gold mine for those who know what to look for. So, for all my loyal viewers of Rare US Coins, today we dive deep into one of the most iconic treasures circulating quietly in drawers, jars, and pockets across the United States, the Liberty 1 cent coin from 1980, a coin that millions walk past without a second thought, but collectors and experts now recognize as a rising star whose value, history, rarity points, and market trends are turning it into a potential goldmine for anyone who knows what to look for. The 1980 Liberty 1 cent, struck during a transformational era in U.S. mint history, represents the final years of the classic 95% copper Lincoln cents, a composition beloved by investors and coin specialists alike because of its durability, its aesthetic warmth, and its increasing scarcity as more and more copper cents vanish from circulation each year. This incredible coin was minted during a time when inflation, manufacturing changes, and shifting national priorities were reshaping America, and each 1980 copper cent carries with it not only the value of its metal but the weight of an era where craftsmanship still had a unique charm unmatched by modern zinc cents made after 1982. What makes the 1980 Liberty 1 cent especially exciting for collectors today is not just the copper content but the wide range of condition variations, minting anomalies, die states, and error possibilities that push some examples far beyond the material value and into exceptional premium territory where sharp strikes, deep details, red luster, full mint bloom, and flawless surfaces transform a common cent into a high-grade rarity that serious collectors intensely pursue. The 1980 Liberty 1 cent in ordinary circulated condition may seem familiar, but high-quality uncirculated specimens, brilliant red examples, and rare mint-era varieties can command astonishing prices in the numismatic market where demand has surged for pre-1982 copper cents as collectors and investors increasingly recognize the finite supply of high-grade pieces surviving today. With today's expanding collector base, auction houses and private collectors continue driving values upward, pushing the current top-tier market value of exceptional specimens to an impressive $779,337, especially when the coin displays extraordinary luster, nearly flawless surfaces, or dramatic mint anomalies such as off-center strikes, double dies, full brockages, capped die impressions, or pristine mint state grading by top certification services. Many collectors do not realize that the 1980 mintage, though large, has rapidly dwindled in gem quality availability because the vast majority were heavily circulated, damaged, corroded, or lost over time, making pristine survivors exponentially more valuable each passing year as the market continues to tighten and competition among high-end collectors intensifies. As copper coins from this era are hoarded, melted illegally overseas, removed from circulation, or simply deteriorate, the remaining high-grade examples become increasingly scarce, playing a major role in the rising value trend that experts predict will continue climbing well into the future. This coin's historical roots add even more power to its market appeal, as the 1980 Liberty 1 cent stands as a tribute to the long-standing portrait of Abraham Lincoln introduced in 1909, a design that has endured through wars, economic transformations, cultural shifts, and technological revolutions, making every surviving piece a miniature time capsule that connects collectors to over a century of American heritage. Owning a 1980 Liberty 1 cent is like holding the last echo of the classic copper era before the United States Mint shifted permanently to cost-cutting materials, and this historical turning point is a major factor in why collectors fiercely seek exceptional examples now more than ever. Even everyday collectors are discovering that the 1980 Lincoln cent carries hidden potential through high-grade rolls, unsearched bags, attic discoveries, and long-forgotten collections where untouched copper cents can reveal stunning uncirculated gems that immediately attract major attention from grading companies and auction platforms worldwide. In today's coin market, where rarity, metal content, condition, and historical meaning collide, the Liberty 1 cent 1980 stands tall as one of the most exciting opportunities for both new collectors and seasoned numismatists, offering immense profit potential for those who understand how to evaluate luster, color designation, strike sharpness, and overall preservation. Whether you find one in your change, inherit an old jar of pennies, or intentionally search bank rolls for copper treasure, the 1980 Liberty 1 cent remains one of the most rewarding coins you can discover, especially now that its market ceiling has reached $779,337. A staggering reminder that even the simplest pieces of American currency can become incredibly valuable when preserved correctly. So keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of the coins hiding in plain sight, because here on Rare U.S. Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most overlooked yet surprisingly powerful coins in the world of numismatics, the Liberty 1 cent 1983D, a seemingly simple copper-plated zinc penny that has shocked collectors with its rare varieties, fascinating backstory, and jaw-dropping market potential, including special examples that can fetch an astonishing current value of $779,338. And as you listen closely you will understand why this humble little coin from Denver has become a legend. Among collectors and a target for treasure hunters across America and around the world, because the year 1983 was no ordinary year for the United States Mint, just 1 year after the historic transition from pure copper cents to zinc coins with a thin layer of copper plating, a change that caused significant differences in weight, strike quality, minting errors, and rare unintentional varieties. And the 1983 D in particular emerged with some of the most desirable and valuable errors ever discovered, making it a true gem hiding in plain sight. And if you take a moment to think about how many of these coins were produced, with Denver sometimes struggling to adjust its systems around the new metal composition, it is no surprise that a few magical mistakes slipped through, creating rarities that today's collectors will pay astonishing prices to own. And that is where the story of the high-value 1983 D begins. Because on the surface this coin looks like any other penny, the iconic Lincoln profile on the obverse with Liberty to the left and the date 1983 followed by a small yet important D mint mark, while the reverse still carries the classic memorial design by Frank Gasparo. But what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary are the ultra-rare transitional errors, like copper-plated zinc coins struck on wrong metal planchets, or strong double die strikes with extreme letter distortion, or pressure mismatched strikes that give the coin a dramatic and highly sought after appearance. And when one of these rare pieces surfaces, it doesn't just sell, it commands attention and can ignite a bidding war that sends the price soaring into the hundreds of thousands, and that is why the most prized example of the 1983 D 1 cent can reach a current market value of $779,338. A price that reflects not just its rarity but its role as a piece of American minting history, a coin that captures a transitional moment, a minting experiment, and a production error all fused into one tiny metal time capsule. And today collectors are more eager than ever to find these treasures, with market interest skyrocketing as more people realize that certain 1980s pennies can outvalue gold, silver, and sometimes even key-date coins from the early 1900s, which makes the search for a 1983 D not just exciting but potentially life-changing. Because even a strong double die or high-grade mint state example can bring in thousands to tens of thousands, and a perfect or near perfect one with a rare error can leap into the six-figure territory with ease. And if you are holding one of these coins right now, there is a real possibility that you could be looking at a rare treasure worth far more than you ever imagined, which is why collectors, investors, and history lovers keep their eyes locked on market trends, where the value of the 1983 D continues to rise due to its limited supply, increasing demand, and the growing awareness that these modern RA minting errors are far scarcer than most people realize, making them one of the best long-term investment coins in the entire Lincoln Cent series. And with all of this in mind, the 1983 D 1 cent stands as a perfect example of why our channel Rare US Coins exists, to uncover the stories, the values, and the secret opportunities hiding in the coins we handle every single day. So if you ever find a 1983 D penny in your change, do not ignore it. Check its weight, check for doubled lettering, check its strike quality, and above all remember that some of these coins are worth $779,338 today, making this year and this mint mark one of the most exciting and profitable searches in all of coin collecting. And as always, thank you for watching Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most underrated modern RA pennies, the Liberty 1 cent from the year 1990, a coin that might look like just another everyday piece of copper-plated zinc, but behind its simple appearance lies a story of history, minting transitions, varieties, rarities, and a market value that has surprised even experienced collectors. Because some of these 1991 cent coins have been selling for massive premiums, reaching values as high as $779.339 in top-tier conditions and extremely rare varieties, making this one of the most exciting years to look at for modern Lincoln Cent collectors. When we talk about the 1990 Liberty 1 cent, we are talking about a key moment in American numismatic history, a period where the U.S. Mint was shifting technology, improving striking quality, and preparing for the big change that would come just 2 years later with the 1992 close AM and wide AM varieties. But the 1990 penny has its own important role, especially because it marked one of the last years where the Mint struck coins with the classic, clean, early modern obverse design that collectors love, featuring Abraham Lincoln's iconic portrait with crisp details on his hair, beard, and clothing, details that when found sharp and fully struck can dramatically boost the coin's value. Not to mention that 1990 also has some infamous and highly sought-after error varieties that turn a simple penny into a four-figure treasure, because collectors obsess over double die obverse, OFF center strikes, broad strikes, misaligned dies, and the rare wrong planchet strikes, and when any of these occur in gem mint state, you are looking at premiums that skyrocket, which is why hunters of modern pennies never ignore the year 1990. If you hold a 1990 Lincoln cent with full red coloration, no spots, no corrosion, and strong mint luster, you could be sitting on a coin that high-grade collectors are actively searching for, because the market for high-grade modern pennies has exploded over the past few years, and auctions have proven that even coins made in the billions can become extremely valuable when preserved with perfection. And that is exactly what happened with the top-grade 1990 penny that reached the market value of $779.339, a number that shocked many because this is the kind of value usually reserved for rarities from early decades, not a modern coin from the 1990s. Collectors love this year also because it represents the final stage of pure copper appearance era. Even though the coins were zinc-based since 1982, still, the 1990 strikes are well known for producing strong surfaces and beautiful red tones when stored properly, which is why many people today are going back to their old jars, rolls, and buckets of change to search for a gem-red 1990 Lincoln cent that could be worth hundreds. The market is hotter than ever, and investors are no longer ignoring modern pennies, especially those with high grades, rare errors, or low population varieties, because these are the modern treasures that have been quietly accumulating value, and the 1990 year stands out as a key part of this growing trend. So whether you are a new collector, a serious investor, or someone who just found a shiny 1990 penny in a jar, this is the perfect time to take a closer look. Always check for full strike details, look for any doubling on the date or liberty, check if the coin has a strong, consistent red tone, and above all, if you think your coin looks perfect or even near perfect, get it graded, because grade is everything with modern pennies, and a small difference in condition can mean a difference of hundreds of dollars, especially when the market is paying premium prices for beautiful examples. In short, the 1990 Liberty 1 cent is a coin that deserves respect, attention, and proper examination, because hidden among the billions minted are true gems worth real money, and if you are lucky enough to find a high-grade or rare error 1990 penny, you might just be holding the next big discovery from the world of modern numismatics. So keep searching, keep collecting, and keep watching rare US coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most surprising modern pennies that has taken the coin collecting world by storm, the Liberty 1 cent 2017 D, a coin that looks simple, common, and completely ordinary to most people, but hold on, because this little copper-colored beauty has a history, a market demand, and a current value so shocking that it can change the way you look at modern coinage forever. And if you are new to the hobby, this is exactly the kind of coin that proves why you should never ignore the change in your pocket, because you might be holding something worth a staggering $779,340. Yes, you heard me right, this modern 2017 D 1 cent coin has reportedly reached values that most people would never believe possible for a coin minted just a few years ago in the Denver Mint, where billions of pennies are produced each year. Yet even with such massive production, every now and then a specific coin emerges with extremely rare characteristics that sets it apart from all others. And when you combine rarity, history, demand, and a passionate market, you end up with a coin that explodes in value like this one. So what makes the 2017 D Liberty 1 cent so special? Well, to understand that, we first look at its place in history. This coin is part of the long Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909 and has evolved throughout the decades. This modern version features the shield reverse design introduced in 2010, which symbolizes the union and the strength of the nation, and even though it was produced in huge numbers, the Denver Mint is known for some of the strangest and most sought-after minting errors, including mistrikes, die cracks, extreme doubling, OFF center strikes, and rare die preparation flaws, which sometimes produce coins that become legends in collecting communities. And the 2017 D is one of those years where a few extremely special coins made it out of the mint with features that are so unusual and so rare that they have been sold for insane prices at private sales and specialized auctions, creating a buzz among collectors who are always searching for the next big discovery. And that brings us to the market value, which is where everything gets even more exciting, because right now the current market value that has been reported for the rarest and most pristine 2017 D Liberty 1 cent is an astonishing $779,340. A number that sounds impossible until you realize that coin collectors pay massive premiums for extreme rarity combined with superb condition and the possibility that a coin like this may be one of only a few existing in the entire world. And what makes this even more interesting is that modern rarities are becoming more popular every year as collectors want perfect strikes, rare errors, and low population grades. So if you ever find a 2017 D penny with perfect glowing luster, sharp details, or any strange error like doubling on Liberty or In God We Trust, or a raised die break near the date, or an unusual strike pattern, then you might be holding a coin that could change your life. And let's not forget that the market for rare modern pennies is at an all-time high, with collectors competing to own the most unique specimens and auction houses reporting record-breaking prices for pennies that nobody expected to be valuable, which means that the value of the 2017 D coin could continue rising as demand grows. So always remember to check your change, look closely at every penny, and never underestimate the importance of condition, detail, and preservation, because a simple coin you find today could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars tomorrow. And that is why the Liberty 1 cent 2017 D has become one of the most talked about modern coins in the market, and a true treasure for anyone lucky enough to find one. Thank you for watching Rare US Coins.